Hello friends, I am Kaushik and in this video I am going to talk about variable in Python programming in detail. A quick disclaimer, I am not a native or fluent English speaker, so if you find any inconsistency in my English, you can correct me in the comment section. So let's start the video now. In this video, I will explain what is a variable, how to define a variable, how to store different kind of values in a variable, and at the end of this video, I will go through rules for defining any variable. It's a 4-5 rules to be aware of while working with variables. These rules are same for most programming languages so that you can use these rules in any programming language. In any programming language, variables are used to store some kind of information in the memory so that we can use this value in a program to perform operations on it. Variables value can be changed depending on the condition or on information passed to the program. We can store all kind of information or value in any variable in any programming language. And we can use variable name anywhere in a program to access value or information of that particular variable that we have stored in the variable. Let me show you how. For this video, I am using Google Colab. It's a very simple to use. Basically, it's an online version of Jupyter Notebook. And since it's online, we don't have to worry about losing the code. And the best part is that you can also make a copy of this and modify the code for learning and experimenting. You can find the link of this Colab in the description box. Now let me define a variable here. I am defining variable count equal to 100 here. Now let me run this shell. So it executed, no errors. As you can see, we have print right here. Now if I want to see the value of any variable, I can simply use print function, print, and in the bracket I can pass the variable name. So if I run this shell, as you can see I got 100 in the output. Now let me show you how to store any word or sentence in a variable. So this time I am defining variable name YouTube and its value is Morepunct code. So if I run this shell, as you can see shell is executed without any error. If you want to define any word or sentence, you have to use these double quotes. In Python, we can also use single quotes for this. Now if I define another variable with single quote, so as you can see, so this time I am defining variable name YouTube2 and its value is coding. Now let me run this shell. So as you can see, shell is executed successfully. Here we have green tick. That means shell is executed successfully. If I want to print the value of variable YouTube, then I can simply pass variable name in the print. Here I got Morepunct code in the output. In a programming, we have a concept of data type to identify what kind of data do we have. Here I will go through primitive data types, most common data types in programming. In a programming language, a number without decimal places is known as an integer data type. This variable has stored integer value in the memory. In the second and third variable, I have stored few words, which is known as string data type. Any word or sentence or anything in a double quote or a single quote is considered as a string data type. If I store a number in a double quote, it's also considered as a string data type instead of an integer. Number equal to 10. Here I have surrounded 10 with a single quote. That's why 10 is considered as a string data type instead of an integer. Because it's in a single quote, that's why it's a string data type. If I store number equal to 10.5 without a single or double quote, it is considered as a float data type. Because in any programming language, when we are working with decimal numbers, it is considered as a float data type instead of an integer. So let me define number equal to 10.5. Let me run this shell. So here the shell is executed successfully. Now if we check the value of variable num, so this time I am getting 10.5 in the output. In a programming, we also have a boolean data type. Boolean is very similar to a switch, on and off. Instead of on off, here we have true and false. Boolean data type is mostly used in conditional statement to check and verify any condition. Let me show you how to store boolean data type in a variable. Here I am defining variable switch and its value is true. Now if I run this, it's executed successfully. If I define true like this in a double quote or a single quote, it's considered as a string instead of a boolean data type, so keep that in mind. When you need true or false, you can define true and false without single or double quote in Python. Here I have defined true. If I define false here, we only have two values, true and false, in boolean data type. If I print the value of variable switch, so as you can see I got false in the output. Now if I change here to true and run this cell again, and now let me print the value again. So as you can see, value of variable switch is changed to true. So we have boolean data type, only true and false. Now let's see some rules of defining any variable in any programming language. Variable name must be a single word. We can't use multiple words to define any variable in any programming language. If multiple word is necessary to identify the variable name, then we can either capital the first letter of all the words, or we can use underscore between two words. If I try to define variable name YouTube likes equal to 10 with a space, so this time I got invalid syntax error, because in any programming language, variable name must be a single word. It can't be a multiple words. But still, if I want to use the variable name YouTube likes, then I can either make the first letter capital just like this. This is valid variable name. As you can see, cell is executed properly. Or I can define underscore just like this. So this name is also valid. Cell is executed successfully without any error. First letter of any variable name must be alphabet or an underscore. It can't be a number or any special character. So if I define variable like this, underscore YouTube equal to 10, it's a valid variable name. But if I try to define 1 YouTube equal to 10, I will get invalid syntax error, because the first character of any variable name must be alphabet or underscore. It can't be a number or any special character. If I try with any special character, @ or %sign or $sign or anything like that, I will get a syntax error. As you can see, if you want to use number in a variable name, you can either use in between or at the end of this variable name. If I try to define YouTube 1 equal to 10, it works. As you can see, it executed successfully. If I try to define U1 tube, it also executed successfully, because we can't use number for a first character of any variable name. If I can try to define underscore 1 YouTube equal to 10, it also a valid variable name. Variable name are case sensitive. If I try to define a variable name just like this, YouTube equal to 10 and YouTube equal to 20, both are the same except the first letter is capital in one variable name, then these both variables are considered as a different variable. First I have YouTube, which is this one, so this printed 10 here, and second I have YouTube with capital Y and its value is 20, so this time I got 20 in the output. In any programming language, we have some reserved words which are known as keywords. Those words have some special meaning to them. In Python, we have keywords like break, if, for, and so on. We have around 30 to 35 keywords in Python. All these words have some special meaning in Python. For and if are used for loops, and break is used to stop a loop. Anyway, the point is that we can't use those words for variable name. If I try to define break as a variable, so I am trying to define break equal to 20 here. So as you can see, I got invalid syntax error because we can't use break for a variable name. If I try with break 1 equal to 20, then it's a valid variable name. As you can see, shell is executed successfully because this time word is changed to break 1 instead of break. That's why it's a valid variable name. Let me show you by printing the value of break 1. So I got 20 here, which is the value of variable break 1. And last one, it's not a rule actually, it's a good practice for any programmer. When we define a variable name should represent the value that we are storing in a variable. Let's say if I want to store my name and age, I can define two different variable, name and age, to store both the data. Name equal to Kaushik and age equal to 34. So this is a good practice because in a variable name we are storing a name of a person, and in the variable age we are storing the age of a person. You can define any variable name to store both these values, but it's a good practice. If you want this code, you can find the link of this Google Colab in the description box. And that's it for this video. If you find this video informative, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more programming videos like this, and turn on the notification so whenever I upload new video you will get notified. If you have any question or doubt, you can comment down below. and thank you for watching. Have a great day.